Hello friends, welcome in. We are over in Oasis of Marr at, I believe it's P1, the first little pillar for crocodiles, and lovely caimans as well. So this is a pretty fun little camp, and this zone brings back a lot of memories. I spent a whole lot of time here with my awesome Shadow Knight way back in the day. I spent a lot of time here on my Necromancer. This was kind of my go-to zone with it being close to Freeport. And I definitely did enjoy that little, you know, bit of fun that you get to have here. I distinctly remember swimming around, fighting for crocodiles. You know, um, I would often be soloing on my Shadow Knight because I couldn't really find groups at the time very easily. So yeah, it was definitely a very fun experience over here. Fear cutting all the crocodiles and caimans and all that good stuff. And then, this place used to be packed. Like every time I played, there would be 30 plus people in the zone. So the competition for mobs was really high. And of course, it was also kind of one of those times where we had specters for days. So when I say specters for days, I mean it felt like every single time I was sitting around medding or at the docks or whatever, some lovely individual would be training specters on us. Holy god, that thing is like kicking our ass a little bit. There it goes. Okay, cool. Need to like sit here and heal all day. I don't have my sweet level 14 heal yet. But yeah, anyways, Oasis of Marr, I always liked the zone quite a lot. Um, Mostly because it was just like very different feeling from, coming from Common Lands and North Row. You get to this zone, you've got all this water on the side here. You've got, crocodiles. It was the first time I had seen that model, and honestly, it's a pretty cool little zone the way they designed it with the Orc Highway and the Croc Highway and all that good stuff. The random undead mobs wandering through, like this mummy that, of course, we aggroed, and now it's going to give my tank herpes forever. Guess we'll go ahead and start looking for my disease cure if I have it. It might be really sad. I do have cure disease, and we might just go ahead and want that right here. Damn mummy herpes. But anyways, yeah, the variety of mobs like the madmen and stuff like that, and the fact that some of them are spellcasters, you know, um, then the danger element too. Sand giants, Gazelle, specters, it just always, this was the first zone I got to that felt like, I was really progressing through the game, I guess. And I definitely enjoyed it quite a lot. Sure. Let's see. Oh, I am almost out of mana. I should let them know before we get killed. I really can't handle another deep water croc right now. And that's exactly what we pulled. How convenient. Well, hopefully it doesn't eat the tank. Worst case, I could always, I think I have Crystonic camp nearby. I could always go throw Chloroplast on them or something. But, yeah, so the other thing about my Nulbo adventures is, since I'm going to be kind of meditating a lot, I get to talk more. So I'm not like trying to, fight something or whatever. Have a little bit of freedom to actually talk about ye old fun days of EverQuest. So, um, yeah, it'll be kind of fun. And this will be kind of the series where folks will be possibly able to get to know me a little bit. Let's be real. If I'm playing my Necro and or my Druid, I tend to be kind of very busy doing all that, kiting or whatever the hell I'm doing at the time. And please tell me I can heal one time. There we go. So that deep water croc is dead, and we are safe. It definitely didn't feel good for a second there. I was starting to kind of worry, ain't gonna lie. But, back to EverQuest zones. This was one of, I don't know why I love the zone so much. I think it was really the Croc Highway and the Orc Highway that did it. It was just neat. You know, I remember coming in here the first time and I saw like, you know, the crocodiles running up and down the shore, and I was like, oh, hey, cool, you know, that's like awesome. And I remember seeing like, you know, the different varieties and conning them and thinking like, oh, some of these scowl at me and they're red. I can't group here or camp, or I can't solo here at all. And then I realized they say they scowl, but they don't actually aggro you. And I was like, oh, okay. Which I totally think was a bug, by the way, that nobody caught. I think they intended these things to walk up and bite you. But, you know, it's all good. Oh, look, we're getting us a nice crocodile. A not red crocodile. And I will slowly start healing this person up. I am kind of excited to have a cleric. When I grouped on Cristana, I noticed that the majority of the time, I was like on heal duty anyway, so like you know, basically ended up having to heal with not the good heal spells all the time. So I'm pretty happy to have, you know, this cleric. And I also played a cleric way back in the day. I had a dark elf cleric, so you know, I'm pretty excited about being able to relive the cleric experience. And, you know, when I made my cleric, it was after Lucklin had come out. So a lot of the leveling that I did was in Lucklin, if I recall correctly. So I didn't really get to experience healing a lot of the old school dungeons as a cleric. So that was one kind of drawback to that. But I do get that opportunity now. Like, as I've been playing Tristana, it seemed like every time, like I said, I ended up healing, so, you know, it felt like there was a pretty good demand for healers. And I do recall, like, hitting the 40s, I started kind of transitioning to pulling and nuking and becoming less, I guess the term I'm going to use, useful as a healer. And we just pulled a deep water. It's going to be blood red, and I has no mana. That face. I can cast one heal. Yay, I did my thing. But yeah, it was very interesting playing. So having played a cleric healer way back in the day, turning around and trying to heal on a druid was definitely fun. I felt like, you know, you could definitely tell I always struggle with mana. If you watch some of those videos, you'll know that's definitely the case. But yeah, I always felt like my heals weren't big enough, and they weren't mana efficient enough, and I was having to cast them, you know, I would have to cast, it felt like 3 or 4 heals to move the tank's life bar, like, at all. So that was always very challenging, to say the least. It did kind of improve a little bit once I got regeneration and chloroplast, but, you know, still, it was always a little bit nerve-wracking to have to worry about that. So yeah, definitely kind of excited to get to play Nulbo. Also very excited to be playing Veldua, my Necromancer. I plan to sneak her into Befallen soon and make some videos in there. I'm going to try to make at least 2 videos in there. And I believe that I can sneak in there at level 5 or 6 and get some decent experience killing some of the undead. I always loved Befallen as a zone, but it suffers from kind of really poor design. Like, you know, the whole first floor of the zone is kind of like a level 5 to 10 area for the most part, but you can't actually, you know, really get there easily and safely because, like, there's level 15 things wandering around right in front of it, so you're always, like, risking getting murdered by a ghoul or something like that. In fact, I have a sneaking suspicion on my trip there I'll get killed by a ghoul or something, or a hill giant, griffin, you know, whatever. But yeah, it was always kind of the fun part of that too. You know, you had to be super careful traveling through those higher level zones, but You know, I always felt like Befallen should have been like a level 20 plus dungeon because it kind of would have naturally progressed. Like you get to the common lands, you kill dervs and orcs and such until you're about level 15 to 20, and then you kind of move on to the next area, be it Oasis or whatever. And having a dungeon that kind of fit that level range would have been nice. But and I mean it does fit that level range, but that's like the second and third floors, so you kind of, you know, the keys and all that other stuff make it kind of difficult to navigate. Like I definitely feel like they probably shouldn't have put keys in there. Um, that may be a controversial statement, but to me, the fact that they made it difficult to access the lower levels of the dungeon that you could actually get good experience in meant somebody had to come there, go grab a key and know, or rather know where to get the key, which back in the, late 90s there was not a lot of great information on that stuff. So, you always had to kind of think about that sort of thing. And it definitely, I spent a lot of time in Befallen actually camping a Gynoc Moltar and getting the platinum ring off of him and selling it. So I know that zone pretty well, and I had done a pretty interesting bit of work on it when I was working on a private server. I had kind of made it I think what I had done is East Common Lands was like 1 to 10-ish, West Common Lands was 10 to 20-ish, and then I did like 25 to 35 for that Befallen, and made it like pretty much like this is where you go level once you're in the Common Lands, or West Commons rather. So I've done like I did a pretty cool little story with it too, like it was kind of a cult, which is I think basically what the story is, but they don't really touch on that in game lore hardly at all, at least not that I've seen. But I kind of made it like a cult and, integrated it into the Common Land story. So like as you did quests, like you knew they were there, you knew they were hiding somewhere. You had like dragoons from Neriak looking for them. You had Knights of Truth out looking for them. So it kind of was a fun little thing I'd done to make the world a little bit more alive. There goes all my manas. But anyways, folks, definitely want to thank you for stopping by to, I guess hang out while I play Nulbo and try to heal people. Looks like I feel like every time I say I'm out of mana, they pull a red crocodile, like straight up. But, such is EQ life. So, do need a huge favor. If you're watching at this point and you have not already done so, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave me some comments. Tell me where you want me to bring this cleric. Like, I am open to dragging him to whatever dungeon I can figure out how to get to. I'm definitely going to try to bring him to Unrest, but that's going to require a little bit of... Damn it, I did not mean to heal that person. But yeah, it's definitely going to require a little bit of work to get there, and I wanted to wait until I got Bind Affinity, so, I can bind myself close by and not have to wait on boats and beg for teleports and stuff. Anyways, folks, like I said, do all the YouTubey stuff, like, subscribe, etc., etc. And we will be releasing more Nulbo videos in the future as I get some more time to play him. Definitely appreciate you stopping in, and have a wonderful rest of your day.